who's responsible for that? China is.
U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said on Wednesday that the United States shared information it obtained about China's spy balloon with dozens of countries around the world. Information the U.S. says demonstrates that it was not a weather balloon as Beijing has claimed, but an airship that was used for espionage.
We are getting more information almost by the hour as we continue to work to salvage the balloon. We're learning from that. And as well, we're learning from what we saw and picked up as the balloon traversed the United States.
The U.S. held the briefings in Washington and Beijing earlier this week about the balloon it shot down off the coast of South Carolina over the weekend and presented its findings to nearly 150 foreign diplomats across 40 nations. Blinken, who postponed a visit to China because of the incident, said Chinese spy balloons have flown over several other countries, too.
The United States was not the only target of this broader program, which has violated the sovereignty of countries across 5 continents.
At the news conference with Blinken was NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg, who said the incident confirmed a pattern of behavior exhibited by China.
So we just have to be vigilant. We need to be aware of the constant risk of Chinese intelligence and then step up what we do to protect ourselves.
The Pentagon confirmed on Wednesday that 4 previous Chinese spy balloons flew over the U.S., but spokesman Brigadier General Patrick Ryder would not elaborate.
Are they over what you would call sensitive sites?
Again, I'm not going to. They were over sites that would be of interest to the Chinese, but I'm not going to go into the specifics, David.
The Pentagon said previous balloons flew over the U.S. at least 3 times during the administration of Donald Trump and 1 previously under President Joe Biden.
We know that they were looking to surveil strategic sites, to include some of our strategic bases in the continental United States.
Ryder said U.S. Navy ships were continuing to recover the remnants of the Chinese spy balloon, which one U.S. official said was 200 feet tall with a payload underneath that weighed a couple thousand pounds.
All right, well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for taking some time to be here today.
Okay, so what were the
Again, I'm not going to talk about their flight paths other than they were over continental United States.
Were they over what you would call sensitive sites?
Again, I'm not going to. They were over sites that would be of interest to the Chinese, but I'm not going to go into the specifics, David. Separately, U.S. Northcom continues their recovery operations in support of the recent takedown of the Chinese high-altitude surveillance balloon. As of today, recovery operations of the balloon and the payload continue without issue. Sea States Tuesday permitted divers and explosives ordnance technicians to conduct underwater salvage and recovery, and underwater survey activities continue using unmanned underwater vehicles. USS Carter Hall remains in the vicinity of the debris field and is leading the recovery efforts. U.S. Coast Guard cutters continue to provide security, and the FBI and NCIS agents continue their work, cataloging debris and transporting it for further processing. Again, we remind members of the public, if you come across debris, please do not handle it, but call your local law enforcement to facilitate safe recovery. Additional information on recovery operations will be forthcoming. It calls into question why China, the PRC, feel that it's okay to violate sovereign airspace of nations in a way that is inappropriate and unacceptable. So combining this capability with the other intelligence assets that they have at their disposal. So again, as I highlighted earlier, this just demonstrates why the PRC continues to remain our pacing challenge. And I think that they have a lot of explaining to do when it comes to conducting these types of programs and violating nations' airspace and sovereignty. Thank you. We are very confident that we'll be able to detect these kinds of capabilities as evidenced by the continuing body of knowledge that we've been able to build up on this. But obviously that is something that our intelligence community will continue to work very closely on for this and any other potential threats. I would not be surprised if the PRC starts to reevaluate its dirigible collection program. I can assure you this was not for civilian purposes. That is, we are 100% clear about that. Secretary Austin, his office did reach out to request a phone call after the balloon was taken down. The PRC declined to take that call. So again, we will remain open to communication. We do not seek conflict.